Hello. How y'all people doing? What's probably noticeable is the lack of a setup today. It's just because I didn't want to have to lug it around. I have a long day set up for myself outside of reading, hanging out, hunting down good breakfast foods to eat, good breakfast sandwiches and waffles and whatnot. I got a long, enjoyable day ahead of me, and I didn't want to have to babysit my whole campfire kit. So I couldn't let that stop me today because I was struck with an idea I wanted to share with people, and I've been tinkering with it, chewing on it like all week, basically. Like I said, this is my weekend, but really, this sentiment always comes to me strongest when I'm at work. Where donning the garb of the working man, because this is a message specifically for working class people, which is most normal people. If you're seeing this and if you have to work, if good behavior or frequent behavior is your subscription to remain in a stable society instead of being outcasted and having to hunt and gather and forage, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a normal person, anybody who is below the rank of Hollywood or whatnot, this is a video for you. This world, we are in such amazing times right now. Maybe not amazing in the traditional sense, but we're living in a time period that will definitely be studied. Anytime you feel like you have personal, like, the only thing you're responsible for, as far as like your personal growth goes, is your actual spiritual, moral, and emotional, mental developments. Everything financial, you could take as much responsibility as you reasonably can, but we are living in a time where it's really not a skill issue anymore. You know what I mean? It's designed to go a certain way. If you're not doing certain things and operating under certain doctrine, there are certain doors you're never going to be able to get past, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Look at what it takes to be some of the richest people. Like, most of the richest people we know of, at least in our country, you know what I mean? You either get rich off of land or slaves. You know what I mean? The higher up you go, no dollar is clean anymore. So do you really want to have what it takes to be one of the richest guys around? This is a cannibalistic system, so you have to adopt cannibalistic principles in order to truly get ahead. And a system that's designed and wired to go against human societal chemistry and whatnot. What does it really mean to say that you are a gifted and intelligent capitalist? What do you think? What skills do you think it takes to really be the best of the best in a system that requires winners and losers? That means the cannibal with the strongest will comes out on top, and the rest of us are left to pick up after each other. Why? Because we still have a value and a care for sentient beings. So never take it too personally. I only call my ops broke. Everybody else, you're just a victim of capitalism. That's it. Make sure in times like this, you're not discouraged and you're not disheartened, because if you spend too much time on the internet, too much time in the wrong places where people are gathering and all they have to exchange is fear, all you're going to come out of that with is more fear. If you want to have extreme peace of mind, and I heard this good quote like the other day, this guy he said, if you want to have a good life, it starts with two things. Two things must be removed for you to have a good life. Memories of a bad past and fear of a bad future. Anything that serves as a portal for fear to enter and reside in your mind is a cancer that you have to figure out how to remove. Fear, ignorance, hatred, anything that keeps your heart stunted is going to keep the rest of your body stunted, because everything you do is a result and a manifestation of how healthy your heart and your mind happen to be at any given time. Everything you do is a manifestation of how healthy those two things happen to be in your system. So anything that directly interferes with that is opposition and an adversarial force in the most literal use of the term. Okay, so always be mindful of what influences your mental state and your emotional state at any given time, because everything is propaganda. That's all we have to give to each other. That's all we're able to do, is to share and collaborate with each other. In the most literal sense of the term, everything is a cult, because everything is a cultivation. Anytime you're with a like mind and you two agree on a topic, it is natural that you two are going to co-produce the common thread that existed between you two. So everything is a cultivation. So it doesn't matter what you surround yourself with, it's a cultivation, it's a cult. So who you surround yourself with, are they pouring life into you, or are they pouring fear? Are they pouring death into you? Doesn't matter where you are, the digital or the physical space, whatever you absorb, that's a cultivation. So you got to be mindful of what cult you're a part of, because you are a part of a cult. And if you believe you aren't, that is also the doctrine of the cult you happen to be a part of. It doesn't matter. Being immune to propaganda, that's not a thing. So you have to do everything in your power to make sure that you're absorbing helpful propaganda. That's all this is. You know what I mean? I'm telling you exactly what I think, and you're making the executive decision of your own accord to decide, hey, is this guy yapping or is he rapping? Is it cap or rap? And even then, you have to absorb that. You have to make the executive decision to listen. You have to make the executive decision to absorb, and you have to make the executive decision to apply whatever it is that comes out of my mouth. I take no part in any of that besides just being the food that was initially consumed. That's all any of us are. So basically, yeah, positive and negative, we're all extremely contagious to each other. So you have to be mindful. But backtracking. That's a very important thing. The reason why I stress navigational skills, social skills, and perceptive skills is because the sharper you are at being around people of many different levels of consciousness and morality, the sooner you develop healthy methods to being able to navigate a world with people all over the spectrum, the easier it gets for you to navigate in a world full of more people. You know what I mean? Most people, if you had to get on the spiritual path or the philosophical path, anything that strengthened your mind, 9 times out of 10 you had to do that completely alone. But life isn't supposed to go that way. We're social species by nature. You have to dilute anytime you're trying to wipe your slate clean of anything that you've absorbed from people, and you're trying to grow in a different direction. Yeah, you got to wipe the slate clean, but at some point you have to reconvene with society of your own accord and exist in a community, partake in a community that actually has something to do with the kind of person you were trying to become. Okay, it's perfectly fine to walk away from society a bit, to take a break, but ultimately you got to come back and find somebody who's going to help you cultivate something that actually pertains to the level you're currently at. You can't just walk off the face of the earth. You know what I mean? You can, but even Buddhist monks who sit on top of a fucking mountaintop do that in groups. You know what I mean? So we're not above human interaction. It just so happens that it's important we stress that human interaction, most times, is it's an accomplice, or it's a tool for whatever our individual end goals happen to be. Even when alone, we're all doing that together. You know what I mean? That's how somebody could claim, they're always alone, they're always by themselves. But what do? They record videos about them talking about being by themselves, and they go put that on social media. You know what I mean? So even when you're by yourself, you broadcast that to other people, how you're by yourself. There's niggas we've never even heard of because they walk in and talk it. They talk about how they're alone. Actually, they don't talk about being alone, because unless they're talking to themselves. Because most people here, they need a mirror. We need each other. That's the main sentiment right now. Everything in the world is a falsification, but one thing you can never allow yourself to not take seriously is human interaction around you, before you, in front of you. The end goal is always socialization. Cute dog. Just ran barely off screen, so never mind. You would have seen her, but she's gorgeous. But the main thing, the end goal for all of this, people, is that we all come together and cultivate something very, very important. Oh, that's dog number 2. Yeah, perfect. They came in a pair earlier. But everything in this world is fake, and that's something you guys are learning. But Do not let any of the desensitization or any of the fear mongering keep you from thinking that these barriers exist between fellow human beings. The only time somebody is unsafe to approach is because their identity is heavily based on those falsifications. Us as individuals, us as sentient beings, we are not inherently fake. We are not inherently false. We become false when our identity and our ego is made up out of things that are designed to conflict with human nature. Again, because that's just the system we happen to live under right now, where things are unnatural and inverted. So anybody who thoroughly clings to something like that, yeah, they're unsafe. It just depends on how committed you are to not being of that. But again, cultivation, group cultivation is still a very important thing. That's still the end goal. Everybody is hopefully on their own path of diluting themselves and freeing themselves from various systems and various falsifications. Why? So that them, as their true versions of themselves, can get back out there and convene with other people who've also come and reached that same point in and of themselves. It's not to shake this whole world off and transcend everything. Leave that for dead niggas. You know what I mean? As long as we're here in a physical form, we're here to touch and see and feel and notice each other, to impact each other while we're still here. You know what I mean? If the end goal was to totally be by yourself, you would be trapped within your own unique, solitary illusion. But the fact is that I see you and you see me, and as long as we're both here in this experience, the end goal is for us to impact each other in positive ways. You know what I mean? The lock and the key need each other, and we all take turns being the lock and the key. Pause. But learning the world is fake should not leave you disillusioned to real, genuine, thorough human interaction. We are still the end goal. And the only thing that you should take seriously in this world are the people around you, the faces. Which is why, like, you could be, like, say you're at work and you work 100%, you give it your all every day. That's why you don't get a raise, but the people around you build a respect for you. Because the system that is built to be unnatural, it follows a script. But things that are organic, they progress and change with time. You know what I mean? If you water a garden, eventually it grows. But if you water fake grass, guess what? It don't go nowhere, because anything that's fake isn't impacted positively or negatively by real decisions. But people, organic, sentient beings are. So taking each other seriously is a very important thing. Never let yourself get so jaded that you think that human interaction isn't worth anything. You know what I mean? You go onto social media and they tell you, you can't trust women. Don't you understand that women who are on that internet space get their own variation of that, where all men are just eaters, and not negative eaters, not positive eaters, not the good kind, but all they do is lead you off a cliff. Don't you realize that everybody gets their own unique propaganda telling them that you can't trust a single soul and that everybody's out to get you? You know what I mean? Like, I already have my own paranoia issues, but even I know that is completely, like statistically speaking, it is so fucking unlikely that 90% of the human population can't be trusted. It just the math ain't mathin', bro. And I can't even bring like a specific piece of data that defends that or really explains that point. I just know it in my being that good people exist more so often than bad people exist. Bad people, we are people who are mirroring certain systems. The same way most schools of magic are neutral until they come into these bugs are tearing me up. Until they come into the hands of a person, of an individual of a particular alignment. I think most neutral people are like that, which is why nature and nurture are both true. You know what I mean? Because there are people who overcome their nature through great effort, and then there are also people who are just born, on blue team, not blue team, but maybe on the good side, on the moral path. You know what I mean? And they stick to that. And then there are also people who are born on this side, and then ultimately they defect and they come over here. But this is a spectrum of human behavior. Never see things too black and white, because all that's going to do is lock you away from a whole little corner of the human condition. We need each other to study off of, to learn from. Written and oral tradition are what have made the wise men, women, adults, teenagers, and children of every time period. They came from oral and written tradition, mouth to ear, or reading a really good book. We all need each other. Don't let the fake world convince you that the people are fake too. We are the only real thing left in this fuck-ass world. You know what I mean? Stop counting people out. This isn't a fucking conspiracy. You know what I mean? I only push one propaganda, and it's to become the sharpest version of yourself so that you can actually handle reintegrating into society, and you have healthy techniques and practices to protect you when you happen to come across people who are still susceptible to brainwashing. The people who aren't, I hope you enjoy them. The people that are, get your defense mechanisms out. You know, the healthy ones, not the childish ones. Very long-winded little burst of energy, but again, y'all, the things that are fake, they never change no matter what you do. But your decisions impact organic beings. Always take the emotions of your fellow sentient beings so very seriously, guys. We're all we have. The government ain't fake, or the government ain't real. The religion ain't real. The schools ain't real. The information ain't real. The only thing that's real are the positive and negative decisions you make in the face of your fellow sentient beings. If there's anything in this world I know to be true, it's my own subjective experience and the subjective experience of those around me. We all impact each other. It's the people who are desensitized to human behavior that end up doing the wildest shit. Why? Because they can't even process, and this is always something I've had, even as a little kid. I used to, I knew I was cooked when I would feel sensitive for inanimate objects. One of my favorite things I remember from my childhood is growing up, I had this SpongeBob comforter, right? And that, it was my shit, you know what I mean? If you know me in real life, I'm a SpongeBob disciple, I'm a SpongeBob fiend, I'm all over that. But I used to have this SpongeBob comforter, and like I said, it was my shit. I think maybe one time I threw up on it or something, but the sheets got dirty, and instead of just washing it and keep on going, my mom, she got me this brand new comforter. She's like, look, Jay, ain't this great? I was like, fuck no, I can't use this new comforter. My SpongeBob comforter's gonna be mad. He's gonna be sad that I fucking replaced him. I can't throw him away. You know what I mean? That's always been me, And, I've had so many points in my life where I was like, maybe if I was just, my life would be so much easier if I was just an asshole. If I could just treat people like fucking toys and shit like that and throw it away. Yeah, maybe it'd be easier in the sense, but it would just be lighter on your pockets. You know what I mean? Even selfish people think that being selfish is the key to life because they stop being the ones who pay the bill. But the bill still remains. You know what I mean? You're just eating off of somebody else's card. And at some point, that'll get to you. Because what happens when everybody gets tired of getting their cards billed to pay off your fucking meals and they all get their accounts frozen and now you got nobody to eat off of? So it doesn't matter how many people you burn through right now. At some point, there'll be nobody left on your little scorched earth for you to gain access to and use instead of, paying off your own bills, paying off your own dues. There is no shortcut that genuinely works, that amounts to, hey, just fucking consume people as fuel and drunkenly walk through this mundane existence and don't take anything as real because nothing matters, nobody cares, nobody remembers. Nihilism literally doesn't get you anywhere. Take some time, go ground yourself, go stabilize yourself, and rejoin society, people. Go back to being positive. We need each other. All right. That's the end of my blabbering sesh. I'm returning to this beautiful park eventually, but I hear Taco Bell calling me. They said they still got Crunch Wraps available, so I'm about to make myself over there. Bye. Love you, people. Stay positive.